Welcome to the CAFMA Connect. As you can see, one more week, Chief Freitag is away, and I was assigned this week to take on the podcast, which I'm, again, more than happy to be here. Again, the nice thing is we have with us somebody that gets assigned with me to be here, and that's Engineer Jace Hall. But we have a topic today that is basically going to be discussing a little bit about the hose, the lifeline that it is for crews when we're on scene, and kind of some expectation for the public of what we don't want to happen while we're there. But before we get started, tell me a little bit about you, Jace, because how long have you been with the agency and what you're currently doing?
So I've been on for 7 years, coming up on my 8th year, and I was a firefighter for 5 of those years. So recently promoted to engineer. I've been loving it.
How recently?
Last November. So almost done with probation.
Yeah, so you're still in probation.
Yep.
Good.
Yep.
Nice.
One more month to go.
And you're doing all right. That's good.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. Keep going.
Yeah.
We won't talk about the door yet.
Yeah.
That's not the time for that, yeah.
Yeah. So I've been working at Station 53 since that time, and it's been great. Been working with Travis and Matthew Del Cerro is one of our probationary firefighters, and Anthony Ponte, and it's been going really good. I love it here.
Cool. Well, and like you said, engineer right now. So you're a firefighter coming before that. Now you're an engineer. So tell us, just for the general public who may be watching, what is your role as the engineer?
So as an engineer, it's a pretty heavy supportive role to the captain. If we get a call, we have routing on our computers that tell us where to go. But it's kind of good to have a general knowledge of your first due area and where you're going, and getting there safely is probably one of the most important things to me, is getting everyone there safe. And then for other things, so like on structure fires, say, again, supporting that captain and supporting the operations of that scene, and supporting the firefighter to have a good outcome, and just setting up that scene.
Sure.
Basically.
Nope, that's good. It is. I think we're going to talk a little bit about the Ocotillo fire in relating to the topic that we have today. But I do, Kathy, how many subscribers do we have? You said something the other day. We're slowly building. I know I've joked in the past of our tens of viewers, but I actually met one yesterday.
You did?
Yes. So how many subscribers do we have now?
I think we're up to 356.
Very nice.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm excited.
So we have a couple more tens of viewers. We do thank you.
Couple more.
But,
yes, thank you so much.
Yeah. I'll give a quick shout out because the individual I met yesterday, retired Fire Chief Dave Curtis. If you're watching, thank you for watching. But there are folks out there that actually watch this. So Jace, be careful what you say. And we thank everybody for tuning in. But the topic for the day is basically, trying to get the message out there that we don't want the public running over the fire hose while we're on scene. Jace, just from your perspective as an engineer, kind of set up what that looks like when you get on scene. Let's say it's a structure fire like the Ocotillo fire, which just happened, a few weeks ago, month ago, whatever it was. If you're the first-in engineer, what's your role in that situation?
Well, first-in engineer on the Ocotillo fire was Engine 58, so that was Zach Ducharme, but we were right on their tail. We were right behind them.
Okay.
And your initial priorities is getting to the scene, getting to the fire, and putting water on the fire, of course, and then rescuing any lives that need to be rescued in the residence. With a water supply, this is super important, and on the Ocotillo fire is a good example of this. Our fire hydrant was about 600 to 700 feet away north of the structure, and when we came in, we came in second. We were able to grab that hydrant and with our LDH, which is our large diameter hose, and then bring it to the scene. Essentially, we have 1,000 feet of large diameter hose on our engines, and we're able to bring that into the scene to provide to basically continue that water supply.
Did the first engine grab a water supply?
No, they went straight to the fire, which is 9 times out of 10 is what they're going to do, because we have 1,000 gallons on the engine, which is a lot of water that we can do a lot of things with 1,000 gallons.
Yep. No, I think that's good, and I think folks need to understand, especially the first engine company they go in, we want them to be aggressive. We want them to work hard, and especially if there's any residents still in the structure. Obviously, in this situation, everybody was out of the structure, and our next priority at that point is to then try to protect the residents and then protect the homes around that. So that first end crew did a great job with going in and working hard and working quickly to try to extinguish that fire. And then the next crews came in to support that. So obviously that was you and your crew. And you said, how many feet did you lay?
It was between 600 to 700 feet. It might have been on the north end of 600 feet. It was quite a bit of hose. Yeah.
Because there was other hydrants that were grabbed at that same time or shortly thereafter. And do you remember how far those hose lays were?
I believe it was farther than 700 feet. I want to say it was closer to 1,000 feet. It was pretty far. It required 2 engines to coordinate to obtain that second water supply.
Yep. I thought I heard, 1,000 feet was the next closest hydrant. And again, for folks watching, it's important to understand the Prescott Valley area is growing. I know we just kind of had an arrangement that we made with the town of Prescott Valley regarding hydrants. When we first made an agreement to service hydrants in exchange for water usage, there was like 300 hydrants. And I think when we did the agreement and made the adjustment just recently, there was over 3,000 hydrants, in the system. So the system is growing. It's getting better. Town of Prescott Valley is doing a great job. Town of Chino Valley, they continue to try to put more hydrants in. But as a general rule, our area, we have a lot of rural area that doesn't have any water supply. So we have water tenders, like you said, our engines carry 1,000 gallons, which definitely can help on that initial attack. But water is our challenge.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Yeah, and that's another aspect of water supply is, are we doing a water shuttle? How close is our hydrant? Do we need to do a nursing operation where a water tender feeds an engine basically to put water on the fire?
So going back to kind of that message we want the public to understand is oftentimes, the police department does a great job when, sometimes they arrive on scene before we even get there and they start blocking roads, which then we have to, work our way around. But a lot of times the police department does a great job coming in, directing traffic, and helping us control the scene so that we don't have more folks coming in or we don't have folks running over the hose. Because a lot of times, especially in rural areas where we have hydrants 700 feet away, 1,000 feet away, we're crossing multiple roads to get those to the engines. And a big thing that we want folks to understand is there's a life on the other side of that hose line. It may have to go through 3 engines before it gets there, but there's somebody utilizing that water, trying to protect a home, protect a life, and it's important because running over that hose certainly could damage the hose, but it could break the hose at that point. And once that water supply is broken, how does that feel as an engineer?
Not good. It doesn't feel good at all. There's a bit of a pucker moment right there when you lose your water supply.
Nope. And certainly don't want to get there. On the Ocotillo fire, did you lose any hose?
Our engine specifically didn't lose any hose. No.
Well, we understood there was a couple. I think Engineer Litchfield had more than a few discussions with folks while they're out. I saw one of the interactions, but there were because multiple times we had folks running over the hose. And whether it's full or it's flat, like neither one of them is good. And we have situations where if we do need to move apparatus over the hose, we have ways to do that. And I know one of the fires, the U Pickett fire, we ended up we weren't doing a water shuttle in that situation. We were doing a fuel shuttle because there was engines on scene for multiple days. And I think we did a podcast on that one. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kathy?
We did.
All
Yes,
right.
we did. It's a great one. Go find it.
A great one.
Watch
Indeed,
it.
great. It's a great show, so go back and find that one. But we had situations where we had to go up and over the hose. So there's ways to do it. But general public, like we'd ask, stay off because, again, there's somebody on the other end of that line.
Yeah. On the Ocotillo fire, on that street, when we had our supply laid out, there were a couple vehicles that were wanting to get off the street. They had places to go,
Absolutely.
which we want to accommodate that. But initially we had to get water on the fire, and we have a job to do initially. And I remember the one gentleman that was wanting to get out was asking, when can he leave?
Yeah.
And respectfully, I told him, I don't know yet. I don't have an answer for you. Just give me a few moments. Because we're juggling a lot of tasks those first initial minutes, and and there's a giant hose snaking down the road, and he can't get out. And eventually, we did accommodate that. And we were able to get some folks on the hose, and actually, I think some police officers helped us out, and pulled at LDH to clear a path for him. And I believe there was maybe one more vehicle that had to get out.
Yeah, obviously, we certainly want to accommodate the best we can, but there are definitely times when it becomes more difficult. So before we close us down, because we said this was going to be the fastest podcast ever, and we filled some airtime, right, Kathy?
Yes.
All right.
You've done beautifully. Thank you.
Right. We can keep Perfect. Yes. Thank you, Kathy. And for those that don't know, I often get assigned to this by Chief Freitag. In this situation, Kathy, our producer, I didn't realize it was the title that she had, producer, said you're going to be there, and Jace is going to be there with you, and you're going to talk about running over hose. So you've certainly done that.
Yeah. Actually, I asked Jace very nicely.
Oh.
It was a very nice text.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was very nice.
He had the option to say no.
Good job. All right. With that, I would say we can't get off the podcast without just, discussing one item from your recent history, which tell us about what happens when you leave a gull wing door open.
So yeah, a gull wing door, for people who don't know, is the side door of an engine. It folds up. If you leave that open and try to drive through a bay, it doesn't work out well.
Nice.
The building did very well.
Good.
The building is
tested the structure.
Yeah, it did perfect.
And I will say, the mechanics in the shop did a fine job, like putting that engine back together. You wouldn't even know that there was damage.
To put a positive spin on it, I think it gave them the opportunity to show off their skills. And Chris Peckham in there did an outstanding job.
Yes,
putting that back
showed
together.
off their skills. They did.
Yes,
you're right. I like that. That's a good way to spin it. With that, I'm hoping Kathy will set it up next week with Chief Freitag or somebody else that will help keep this, going. But for everybody out there, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already, like and subscribe. That'll make Kathy very happy. And we'll see you guys next week. Have a good week. Be safe.